speaking of the same lines, though, and I'm curious on this one too, your take.
Mhm.
OpenAI, I guess they made a press release, but in other case, I guess they've announced that now have 1 million paid, and this is the key, business users.
Mhm.
So also trying to make the case that they are going after the enterprise, and this is a 400, almost 100% increase, about an 80% increase since April. So what is that? May,
Mhm.
June, July, August, like 4 or 5 months. That's significant. What I think is most interesting about this, and I would love to see better data on exactly what this looks like. Is this just individual users that have business email addresses, or because they have not done nearly the same effort, I think, on the enterprise play, right? They've mostly been using
Mhm.
like Microsoft and others to focus on the enterprise. So this one, while interesting and certainly a sign of strength, also left me scratching my head a little bit, going, is it real?
Right. OpenAI has definitely been selling into the enterprise and want the business users, but do they have the same level of that control plane that you expect from your enterprise applications? It's not quite there in the same way. And this reminds me of a couple of things that we've talked about recently, both Salesforce attacking Microsoft for just having the $30 Copilot and not quite being able to provide the business results you're looking for. Frankly, OpenAI and ChatGPT fall into the same boat with their $20 amount per month offering, which is fantastic as an entry point, but doesn't necessarily get you to actual business value at the end of the day. But also, it's interesting that OpenAI in the same story was being rumored to consider higher price points for better models, including going up to possibly $2,000 a year, when we've seen from the likes of the cloud hyperscalers that honestly, the cost story is kind of a race to the bottom if you are really looking for adoption. Amazon Web Services, I would say to their credit, rarely raises prices. They can't do it in this competitive market if they want to gain market share, and they know that. So usually they will price cut over time as they have additional services. And the idea of being able to raise prices, especially 10x, like OpenAI is talking about, usually is not a great step forward for enterprise markets unless you have some sort of extreme competitive advantage, such as, say, Oracle database had back in the day when it was really the only game in town, or when Oracle and SAP first came out as ERPs and had that kind of price control. But I don't think OpenAI really has that as a model company, to be honest.
Yeah, well, and the article is not at all clear on what that means. Is that, are these special use cases where this is some API that's not representing a single user? I mean, if they're talking a single user, then it needs to be a killer work
Mm-hmm.
use case to make any sense. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really interesting sort of space to see how this all develops, especially given. So I didn't bring this article up. I thought we'd save it for next week because this was literally came out right as we were prepping for this call.
Mm-hmm.
But um, there's another article on the Wall Street Journal about how big these bets are getting and how much return you have to get out of them to see it. And it certainly makes what it's pointing to is the fact that there is so much reticence on that part of enterprise IT organizations to figure out what's that path, right? That's why we talked a few weeks ago about Microsoft running into some roadblocks within the CIO world, and because of that. And so I think that this is one of those classic cases of a technology looking for a problem to solve. Thankfully, I think there's lots of problems that this technology can solve, but it's a matter of now how do you put it together and actually make sense of it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. And